Good morning, grade fives. Welcome to reading for Thursday, the final remote reading lesson for you guys. Next week, we are back in action at school, and tomorrow we've got Specialist Day. So let's get into it. So today we're going to talk about solving unknown vocab, and we're going to talk about tier 2 and tier 3 words. It's important to understand how we can solve these words, but also it's going to be great for us with our informative writing pieces coming up. This is going to be a really important thing for you to consider when you're writing too. So these are going to cross over, which is great. So APK, I want you to think of a topic, any topic you would like, anything you want. And I want you to record all the words you can think of that you can only use when you're talking about that topic. So they're only relevant to that topic. For example, I've chosen cricket, the sport cricket, and some words that I could come up with that I can only use if I'm talking about cricket. Stumps. I don't think I could use that word for in any other context. Wicket, slips. 3 examples. Someone might say ball. Ball is to do with cricket, but I could use ball in lots of different for lots of different topics, not just cricket. So I want words that you can only use when you're talking about that topic. Let's see how many you can get. So pause me, have a go at that now. All right, how'd you go with that? Hopefully you got lots of words. I'm looking forward to seeing who got the most for their topic. All right, our learning intention today, which I would like you to write down, is how do informative texts help us understand complex vocabulary? And what we're going to do today is we're going to be able to identify tier 3 words, and we're also going to use a glossary. So can you please write down that learning intention and success criteria in your workbook right now? All right, so what are these tier 2 and tier 3 words that I'm talking about? If you've heard of them before, great. This might just clarify or clear up or affirm what you already know about them. If you've never heard of them, even better, because we're about to learn something. So what are tier 2 words? Obviously, we've got tier 1 words. I'll talk about those in a minute. We're not going to focus on them. But tier 2 words are words that we don't use often, so we don't use them every day, and they normally add detail, but most importantly, they can be used across different subjects or topics. So like masterpiece, fortunate, industrious, measure, benevolent. I can use all these words if I'm talking about cricket, if I'm talking about a piece of art, if I'm talking about a day at school. They're words that add detail. They are probably what we've called in the past wow words, you might have heard. Tier 2 words are those kinds of words. Then we've got tier 3 words. So they're words that are subject specific. So they can only be used for one subject or topic. So things like scientific words are definitely tier 3 words. Those words that you came up with before, hopefully they're tier 3 words. Some other examples, economics. We can only use economics when we're talking about money. Isotope. We can only use isotope when we're talking about chemistry, I think. Asphalt. We use that when we're talking about construction or roads or surfaces. Crepe. We only use the word crepe if we're talking about food. So they are subject specific words. What are tier 1 words? You're probably wondering. Tier 1 words are just common words we use every day. I, you, mum, dad, boy, girl, said. Words we use every single day of our life. And they're super common. So today we're going to be looking out for these kinds of words and these kinds of words. Oops. So if these words, particularly tier 3 words, are only specific to a subject, if I'm reading about something I've got nothing about, if I'm reading about physics, how am I meant to know what all these words mean if I don't know anything about the topic? Well, authors do a few things for us to help us out. They might put one of these next to the word. They might bold a word. They might underline a word. That was the word there, by the way, that scribble. They might, oh, there's no highlight option. they might highlight a word. That's me highlighting. They might write a word in italics, which is when the words are kind of slanted like this. They're doing that because they're giving us clues that this might be a tier 3 word. This might be a word you're not sure of. And what do these little codes mean? Well, often in the back of informative text, there's something called and I know you guys know about this, glossary. So when the author does one of these things that we talked about, the asterisks, the bold, the italics, the highlighting, the underlining, they're signaling to us that this is a tier 3 or a tier 2 word that's maybe unknown, commonly unknown. And if you flick back to the glossary, you can check out what that word means. Now, cookbooks have these in them. Articles can have these in them. Textbooks have these in them. They're really important things to use. So today, we're going to read an article about microbes. Now, you might go, what are microbes? That's the point. We're going to read about a topic that we probably don't know much about. What I want you to do when you read the article, which I'm going to show you in a moment, is record the words that were in the glossary. And let's get that up now. So this is the article we're going to look at, taking care of the billions of microbes in your mouth. So this seems sciencey, doesn't it? So as we go through, and I know we've used Kids News before, you'll notice that as we go through, the author signals to us that we might be coming across a tier 3 word like microbes by doing one of the examples we talked about before, using an asterisk. And what we can do is we can then scroll to the bottom. And what they do in Kids News is right here, it says microbes are microscopic living things, including bacteria. So you can scroll down to that as you're reading it. That sentence makes sense now. So what I want you to do today is you're going to, number one, read through this article, and each of these words that has an asterisk, you're going to write this glossary down in your book. So find it, record it in your book. You can also, I also want you to include the definitions with them. They're short little definitions in Kids News. So, is you then need to, as you read, I want you to find 5 more, and just in case you didn't hear me, ooh, that's too big. 5 more words in the article that could be tier 2 or tier 3 and add them to your glossary. So all up, you should have about 10 or 11 words, the ones that are already in the glossary, and then you're going to add 5 more that you think are tier 2 or tier 3 with their definition. After you've done that, with the reflection, you can go on with your 30 minutes of independent reading, which is really important. Your reflection today, after you've completed that task, is consider a new word that you've learned today. And if someone says today that they haven't learned a new word, they can come and see me on Tuesday, because I will call up Deakin University and you can go and lecture their science course, because it's very technical language in here. So that's my way of saying there's no way you're not going to learn a new word today. What was a new word you learned today? Can you use it in a sentence? So try to use it in a sentence. So you might say the new word I learned today was incredible. I know you know that word. And then you might put in a sentence that said, this reading lesson today was incredible. All right, so once you've done that, can you upload your APK, learning intention, success criteria, the task, which is your glossary, and reflection. And then you can go on with your 30 minutes of reading.